Welcome to the Lila Life Show. I am your host, Linda Andrews, CEO, founder of Lila Life, and host of the Lila Life Show podcast, which you are tuned into right now. Thank you so much for being here today. I wanted to share some personal, some professional spotlights, highlights, and just offer you some inspiration. Maybe you're feeling the year starting slow. Maybe you're feeling the year starting fast. Maybe you have goals. Maybe you don't. I just love to know where you're at right now and how you kind of ended out 2022. Oh my God, 2020, all the way to 2022. And that leads me to my next point. The past 4 months have been pretty wild, and that's coming off of what feels like a pretty wild 4 years. So, I'm delivering this content to you with the intention that you are really finding some tidbits of inspiration to up level in your life and business. You may identify as a high performer. You may identify as a recovered high performer. And our three pillars here are well-being, prosperity, and consciousness. So we had a couple different episodes before we dive into the other stuff. We had Jacqueline Burbage with In Body. We had Jean Tien with Your Success. We had Victoria Starr, I Get to Breathe. And we had Chad Carpenter of Soul Space Yoga, Zen Master Chad. And these different conversations, we had two breathwork episodes, a prosperity episode, and an embodiment episode, where I would say mainly consciousness focus, some success focus here, and prosperity. And just wondering for you if there were any tidbits, takeaways, what you want more of. We are actively onboarding partners, actively onboarding our episode guests, and really wanting to curate this content in a way that feels good for you and is giving you that little soul nourishment that you're desiring. Again, to support you in your life and business. And maybe you have a business, maybe you work for someone's business, maybe you do other things outside of your just personal life, whether these are roles and responsibilities. And when I say up level, this is an intention of helping you just tap into higher awareness, higher consciousness, to be more thoughtful, loving to yourself and others as you navigate what can feel like the craziest times of our life. And I definitely, for those of you that are into astrology, I am a Taurus, Leo, Scorpio. So that's my sun, moon, and rising, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio. And if you're into the manifestation, human design, I'm a manifestor 3-5. So the past couple months, I've been going through my Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycles, and it's just been insane. I can't even tell you. So I'm not going to spend too much time there, but what it has really made me do is deepen everything, including the coaching practice, the inner practice. And I love this technique of integrative coaching. It's combining everything, because everything is connected. And those pillars of well-being, consciousness, and prosperity, I find as a stunning overlay for you navigating your life. And I live it and I learn it, and then I learn it and I live it. And this time period, really the past 4 years, but special highlight for the past 4 months, has helped me utilize my tools, tap in deeper, find a deeper acceptance, love, all these different things within myself, in relationship to others. And although it's been challenging, it's been a really beautiful process. And I'm wondering if you've been going through anything like this in your life in different ways, and what healing, what awareness is, what's working, what's not, now what? Like, we're figuring it out as we go. So I'm coming up to my 3-year wedding anniversary, which feels really exciting. I just got this cute little moonstone, peach moonstone, which I guess is like the crystal of the 3-year mark. And I don't know, I used to go to North Carolina as a kid, and we would go gem mining. And I heard the term for people that loves crystals are rock hounds. And my dad and brother are named Rock. I just don't think I had a leg to stand on with the crystal thing. So here's our peach moonstone. I'm hoping that he's going to use that as a little paperweight. And I got this on the Etsy shop, Revson Healing Bar Revson Healing Bar, Revson. And they sent me a little Amazonite as a free gift, which I was pretty pumped about. So that's what's going on here on the personal side of things. I've been having our house on the market. If you follow just the world. It's sort of a crazy time to be listing a house, but we're just navigating that. And that's a whole long story that I'm not going to get into. And the last but not least is our little dog, Lily. She's 90 pounds, not that little. She's on a weight loss plan right now, but she just had her doggy ACL, which is called a CCL. She had the TPLO surgery, and that was about 2 weeks ago. So we're having our two dogs separated. Our other dog is a Spanish water dog, Luna, and it's been pretty wild. So if you follow the With Linda Andrews Instagram, I post them sometimes. And we're just doing our best. So that is all that. But on the other side, personal segueing into business, I have been doing two things quite consistently with other, we'll say, underlays that I want to share. And in the dog surgery, we had the experience of like having to have the dog separate, and it was this whole adjustment period. And during that, I took the opportunity to get back on the 4 a.m. wake ups. So I've been in the 4 to 5 a.m., but I could just see all signals pointing to this where I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm going to use that extra time. I love that time in the morning. And it took me about 2 weeks, I would say, but I'm waking up on my own without an alarm, winding down much earlier, and it's so nourishing. And that time, that pre-dawn time, is really magical. And what I'll segue into is using my best self code journal, which I am working on my partnership with them for Lila Life, but obsessed. And I've have my journal with best self code that I've synced up with the solstice equinox cycle. And there's something about being in that natural rhythm of the seasons that I have found so fun. And that started on the winter solstice. So if you get a best self code journal and want to hop in with the spring equinox, that's 321. Those 13-week cycles are really fun to work with. And you can kind of zoom out with a macro perspective around the year. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're going to be doing kind of this review and ramp up and coast and wind down and review, which I can tell you more about that another time, but it's just being in line with like right now we're coming off that winter holiday season, winter solstice, and then going into the spring equinox. And so that's the review and ramp up. And so it's been this really nice flow to be in that dance. And right about now of recording, we're getting ready to go into that halfway point. There's a special name for this that I don't recall, of the equinoxes and solstices. It's a funny word, I think. So drop that in the show notes if you, or the comments if you know it. But yeah, that time, like the words trying to come through, that time is a time to segue, right? Because each one of these segments I named two. It's like review and ramp up. So I spent the first 6 weeks in review, second 6 weeks in the ramp up. It's been a little like personally uncomfortable because sometimes I like to go really fast, but I noticed so much of that was rooted in chaos. So I'm working with this 13-week planner. You're doing macro 3-month goals, breaking it down to weekly, and then reviewing all this daily. And it's really fun to track the weekly to the quarterly and then all that back to the daily. So it's just cross-checking myself, making sure that the highest priorities are getting the most love. And I've just noticed in doing this that I have more space, and that is feeling cool. So anyway, if you are interested, go to Best Self Co, look for the journal and hop in with us. And if you have your own journal and planner that you love, I'm curious if you've ever worked with the seasons like this and how that's felt for you. So I can't talk about this and talk about the morning wake ups without talking about the cycle syncing. I have for about a year been working on doing more serious cycle syncing with my period to be able to really rest in these rest periods and find that harmony in a month on that 30-day or 28-day cycle. So it's just totally a work in progress. But at the beginning of this year, I decided to get into doing this with my workouts. And this was my first month. And to overly simplify, it's like ramping up and winding down. And anyway, Siri was just wanting to say hi. Hopefully you could hear all that, but I was talking about the cycle syncing and how it can be oversimplified to ramping up and winding down and building in like extra layers of that harmony into the day to day and week to week with energy levels and with like the natural flow of the cycle. And I have just a whole theory about the workplace and how if the men's 24-hour cycle could be interwoven with a woman's 24-hour plus 30-day cycle. Like, what could the workplace environment and the future of work look like? But some of these conversations, we'll see if we can get some experts in to dive deeper. And I do like to keep these tidbits often cut and dry. Like, please go research, learn, understand, find what is that deeper level of resonance for you. But it could be something that if you're not doing, you can take to the next level and do. And if you are doing, refine, refine, refine. My 3 favorite coaching questions: what's working, what's not, now what? Join me in a deep breath. I know I can kind of get into the spitball mode. So we are gearing up right now. I mentioned onboarding partners. I'm really excited. I have some very clear goals around partners and membership, content production for this year. And I just am feeling so excited to make this integrative well-being club what Lila Life's offering is as cool as ever. And we're focused first on the digital side. There's plans beyond that to expand, but right now I'm in this early stage, taking the early stage funding, working on the organic growth of the company and hiring team. So I'm pumped. I just love like the ebb and the flow, the expansion, the contraction, and feel like, when you get to like kind of cut off at the knees. I don't know, that's not the best way to say this, but when you just kind of, whether it's a setback or some trials, it's like, whoa, what is going on? And then you get to re-engage with life with like a totally different perspective. And that I have found quite beautiful. So what I would love to hear from you all is, where are you at for the year? Are you doing goals this year? Are you not? If you are, why? If you aren't, why not? I would also love to hear like anything that you've started just implementing or shifts, if that's around daily routine, habits, and where's your headspace at? And what's getting into like, what is becoming the resistance? I'm curious, if anything. So for me, I can sometimes get too into the geopolitics and the economics. I just really find like the intellectual finance nerd in me is just so curious about so many different things. I'm sometimes like doing some light day trading, and yeah, it's just kind of navigating 2022, the phones, the tech, like how much do I want to be on this? What content do I want to be consuming? I love that. That's a Freudian slip, confusing, because it can be. And it's like, where's my intuition? How much room do I need to give it? And then what's all this other stuff? And can that connect or not? I'm just curious always about that. And what are the distractions? And the other thing, which we talk a lot about here on the show, I feel like, is boundaries and this distinction around walls versus fences, and noticing that within yourself. And sometimes, especially over the past couple of weeks, I've been in complete wall mode, and I just was like having to be, right? It's like your nervous system may get to a certain point where it is overload, where it is too much. And so that's when maybe the fences have to become walls to help you keep your form of whatever else is going on. So that's been really interesting to explore as well. We talked about the business. I talked about the Best Self Co-Planner, absolutely loving that, having that early time in the morning. If there's anything that I've said that you're like, oh man, I want to do that, or like, yeah, I've been wanting to do that. The last thing that I have coming up as like personal things, one is to make some time to do just some projects that I want to do outside of work that have some creative juices to flow. One is making candles, and the other is to paint. And the other last thing is to get some improv going. So these are like personal, maybe hobby things, but feel really connected to business because of the way I feel it just shift the whole neurology and experience. So hopefully I'll have some really deep, insightful lessons from that. And I want to just pull for a moment before we wrap today. I mentioned I'm doing an overhaul of everything. I have my 50-page business plan. I have my 50 pages worth of content. I have my 40 pages worth of coaches training. Like it's been pretty wild of just doing that heavy lifting. And so I have my content guide, and in that I have all these beautiful quotes. So I want to share one with you, but before we do that, I want to do some affirmations as well. So here's a couple affirmations. I want to invite you to see if there's anywhere you're getting stuck in your life, if having something that you can affirm within yourself with some emotion, with some words, right? Saying this out loud. You can also do it internally, but see what shakes for you here. All right. All I need is within me now. I live each day with passion and power. I'm strong and powerful, happy and excited. I am resourceful. I have the ability to do whatever it takes to succeed and to support all those I love. I have tremendous confidence in my talents and my abilities. I meet every situation knowing I am its master. I have deep respect for myself and for everyone I meet each day. I am committed to perform with excellence in all that I do. I forgive myself and others easily. I could keep going, but I'm not. So take, if any pings came in there, whatever one is for you. And absolutely last but not least, before we wrap today, we're going to just do a little quote. Let me see where we at. Okay. Okay. All right. I have made it here a better person. Everything I've gone through prepared me for what's now here in my life. Blessings and breakthroughs are on the way, and I feel them entering my life this month. This is from Sean Fontaine, who does the moon omens astrology, which I love. And I just wanted to share that with you. That's been popping out to me all day. And I'm going to just read it one more time. I have made it here a better person. Everything I've gone through prepared me for what's now here in my life. Blessings and breakthroughs are on the way, and I feel them entering my life this month, right? That's a good one. So cheers to, I've been into these sparkling hop waters, day pack, black cherry by Athletic Brewing. This is not an ad, but I should be sponsored because I'm super into these. And the drinking thing, talk about the vibration. Like I just last year's like, I can't drink anymore and stopped. It was so weird. It wasn't like a whole thing. It was like one day it was over. And so I've been enjoying that curiosity and really treasure my little treats like that though. So, all right, signing off for now. We are going to be taking a break next week, and then we have our guest episodes starting back up. If you're not already a member of the Lila Life Collective, please sign up. You get 22 days free. There's a whole entire basically course in there that is very extensive. And so if you do the 22 days free and cancel, like get that content in. It was my first course ever created called Life Expanded. There's also some other freebies in there aside from that. And if you're just feeling like you need a little extra boost, I highly recommend you check this out. You do the work, you integrate. And if you do go beyond the 22 days, there's updates coming, there's partners coming, there's content coming, and it's all with you in mind about helping you up level in your life and business. And up level doesn't mean to be disembodied. Up level doesn't mean to take yourself out of the present. It's to deepen into all of it and live a life that's in alignment with the gifts, the beauty, everything that you are, and what that ripple effect is in the world. All right, with that, signing off, signing off. Have a beautiful rest of your week, and we will see you in 2 weeks on the Lila Life Show.